Jackie McCarthy O'Brien is an Irish sporting legend. A proud Limerick woman, she was the first woman of colour to play for both Ireland's international soccer and rugby teams, winning 13 caps for both. We have the teams. We have your rugby team and we have your soccer team. Do you remember these? Do you remember when these were taken?
This is in 92. And this one, this was my last match for Ireland.
I remember this opal jersey, and this is a great action shot. I love this one.
It's iconic now.
Iconic, yeah.
It's iconic. When you imagine somebody that has been born here, bred here, grew up here, simply because of the colour of their skin, they're seen as not being Irish. And what is it with people that they can't seem to identify that they're taking our sense of belonging from us? We're Irish. We love Ireland. We want to represent the country we grew up on, for our family, for our friends, for the people around us.
Ireland's population has become more diverse, and for many of those people, the Dublin riots and other violent events have increased their sense of fear and worry.
I come from Limerick and I can walk down the street and it can take me all day to walk down. It's, well, Jackie, did you see the match? We're proud of you. And I love that. But if I go outside of Limerick, I become worried. I'm now a foreigner in my own country. I would say there isn't racism in sport. It's when you're off the pitch. It's from the sideline. And sad to say, I heard the comments, but you know what? I just kept running and put the ball in the back of the net.
The Irish woman, Adeleke, is going to become a double gold medalist.
Unfortunately, Jackie is not alone. Many athletes are subject to racist abuse. Irish Olympian Rashida Adeleke has been targeted by hurtful comments. And last year, the FAI reported incidents of racism directed towards players during the Ireland Boys Under-15s tournament. Jackie, tell me about some of the incidents of abuse that you've experienced.
Off the pitch, I've had a few incidents. I've had 3 stitches to the side of my head. You know, just told to go back to my own country. When I approached and said, "Hi, I'm from here," I get a bottle. I've had my tyre slashed. I was in a queue and people in front of me started doing monkey chants and whatever, aimed back at me. It's happened on more occasions than I care to speak of. It does make you feel less than. It does hurt.
And so were you relieved that social media wasn't around when you were playing?
Very much so. Very much so.
But today, social media is a major part of how we consume and analyse sport. During Ireland's Six Nation game against Italy in February, Cork-born Edwin Adogbo made his debut. The majority of social media comments on platforms like Instagram and X were hugely positive. But you don't have to scroll too far to find posts on X repeatedly challenging his Irishness. He isn't Irish. He never will be. He's African, not Irish. Some comments were extremely hateful and even went as far as using racial slurs. From what I saw, negative posts were in the minority. Some were quickly deleted, and most people wished him well. After these abusive posts appeared online, the IRFU and their partners identified the accounts based in Ireland and made an official complaint to Gardaí on Tuesday. Look at me. Jordan Conroy is a recently retired Ireland Sevens rugby player, 2-time Olympian and Dancing with the Stars finalist. Unlike Jackie, Jordan's career took off in the age of social media and instant opinion.
In the last 5 years, with things being changed in the political world, it just allowed hatred to come in. These people who call themselves patriots or whatever just decide to, spew this hatred online. And I think it's kind of, seeped its way into sports. I was born in Germany and then moved over to Ireland, where my mother was born and raised, and no one ever batted an eyelid when it was me. And my opinion is, because I'm mixed race, I'm not of a darker skin complexion. I do feel that the people who are darker than me do get more of the brunt of it. But I have, endured casual racism sometimes, as when people look at me before I talk, it's like, where are you from? And I say, Ireland. And they say, oh, you don't look very Irish.
And the pass to Jordan Conroy. Conroy for Ireland!
While Jordan didn't experience racism when playing rugby as an adult, he did endure racist abuse while playing schoolboy soccer.
The first actually started in Germany. People would call me, you black this, you black that, or you blackhead, and then the N-word. It happened in soccer. There was this one kid I just didn't like, and we just clashed whatever in a tackle, and he just called me a black bee. And, obviously me being 11, 12 at the time, I got very angry, and I walked off the pitch. It's not nice. It's not nice because the degrading feeling you feel, because it makes you feel worthless, it makes you feel very small. People have to be punished because they've been given too much freedom to say these things, and, they are corrosive. Corrosive to the game, corrosive to people.
At the highest level, these elite athletes represent Ireland, but online, their Irish identities can be questioned.
What is it to you, I mean, do I have to put on a thicker country accent, or, do I have to show you where I lived, what school I went to, what clubs I've been into, It is hurtful because it belittles you. That's what it does, it belittles you.
While sporting bodies will continue to have to grapple with this increasing issue, some argue it reflects a wider problem in Irish society, where prejudice seems to be going unchecked in life and online.
We are a multicultural nation, and we should be embracing it. I do not want people around the world thinking Ireland is a racist country, because it's not. That small little group don't need to represent the whole of Ireland.
Jackie there finishing Pam Frere's report. And I'm now joined in studio by Fintan Drury from Sports Against Racism Ireland. Thanks so much for being here, Fintan. Look, when you see Jackie and Jordan there, how prevalent is this? And is it in every sport?
It's prevalent, but it's not just prevalent in sport. It's prevalent in Irish society. And so if it's prevalent in Irish society, it's going to manifest itself in sport. But it's across everywhere. It's in our education system. And we have done, quite an amount to try and address it. I think there is cross-party acceptance that it's an issue. I think where politically there would be a difference of opinion is the extent or scale of the issue. And I think that really does matter, because ultimately what we need to see, Miriam, is an approach which is much more coherent than we have right now. And in my role as chair of Sport Against Racism Ireland, I'm seeing this as a growing problem rather than something that, over the last number of years, we would have hoped would be addressed. We have a national plan which sets out the kind of things and initiatives that need to be taken, not in sport, but where if that plan was being fulfilled the way in which it should be, we would start to see the changes within sport. I think it's important to clarify our role is to use sport to educate and to train people in anti-discriminatory thought, and to educate young people in particular to see multiculturalism as a richness in our society. You and I grew up in an Ireland which was not the furthest thing imaginable from multicultural, but it was a repressive, unattractive Ireland compared to the Ireland that our children and our grandchildren are growing up in. And so that's a richness that's there. We need to protect it, we need to work at it. And there are efforts being made, but they're not enough. And there isn't enough by way of resources being put into this to actually see the changes being really copper fastened.
Has it got worse, do you think, Fintan, because of all the online platforms? And is it a mix in sport of both online and pitch side? Is it everywhere?
It's a mix. It's a mix online and in the presence of people on the sideline, but also in the classroom. I mean, there's an interesting report which was done by the Secondary School Students Union, where they interviewed more than 3,600 students across the country. And the levels of racism being experienced by non-white Irish, non-Irish white people, but also by people of different ethnicities, serious racial discrimination. And worryingly, some of that was happening, you know, at the hands of their teachers and people within the schools. So there is a really profound problem here, and what we need to do is set about addressing it by resourcing in a profound way, resourcing the agencies, not just Sport Against Racism. Colin McCann, the author, has a program which uses storytelling called Narrative 4, based in Limerick, doing the same work we do, but using storytelling rather than sport.
So very brief, you said it needs to be more coherent, the whole approach. What's the first thing then that needs to be done?
The first thing that needs to be done is that there needs to be a funding mechanism put in place whereby, I mean, one of the criticisms that's been made by the rapporteur on racism in Ireland in her latest report is that there is no coordination across the government departments. There's supposed to be, it's set out in the national plan that was signed by government. There's no coordination, and she specifies the Department of Finance and the Department of Taoiseach as not doing their bit. So what we need to see is a much more coherent effort being made to educate and inform.
But also, attitudes need to change. What can people watching that,
you
individuals?
only change attitudes if you educate and inform. You can't change people's attitude by saying, you're wrong, this is right. You have to explain to them and encourage them to recognise that what they are doing and the approach they're taking is wrong. They need to understand that they are actually involved in a society that is evolving into something much richer, much more attractive, and much more an enjoyable place in which to live. They have to accept that. But it does start with a recognition. We have to make a decision as a country. Is this the Ireland we want? Do we want an Ireland that is truly inclusive? If we do, we have to set about making that happen.
OK, Fintan Drury, I really appreciate you coming in tonight to talk to us.